my name is Riley Felton. Welcome to my channel, Riley Reads. Today we'll be talking about all the books that I read in the month of March. You know, that was a while away, so, but it's fine, it's fine. I read 7 books in March, so that's really fun. And yeah, we'll just go through some of them. It's a good reading month. Ended on some good ones. The first book I finished in March was called Lemon. I did not write down the author, but it's whatever. Lemon is a psychological, I have them written down so I don't forget what I want to talk about. It's a psychological portrait of 3 women haunted by a brutal unsolved crime. This is set 17 years after the 2002 murder of Kim Hyon, called the high school beauty murder, and we follow Kim's little sister, Daeon, and 2 of Kim's classmates who were affected by her murder and who run into Daeon and just like their perspective of her. Lemon takes the shape of a crime novel, but finding the murderer isn't the objective. We're mostly seeing like how Kim's murder affected her little sister. And I really liked the book. I really liked the different perspectives, and how we see like Daeon through different lenses and that sort of thing. We see like how she's doing based on the judgments of other people, just the 2 other people. I think it portrayed grief really well, and how much grief like affects people. I thought all the characters had really strong, like distinct voices, which, you know, you appreciate. And yeah, I gave it, how many stars did I give it? I gave it 4 stars, and I would highly recommend it. Super good. The second book that I finished last month, was Educated by Tara Westover. This book has been like really hyped. I've heard a lot of good things about it from a lot of different people. And I think I was kind of underwhelmed when I read it. Like, it is a really crazy story. But like, I don't know, I was just expecting like a little bit more. For those who don't know, Tara grew up in like disconnected from society by her family. Like, they were the type of family that thought like the end was coming, and so they were preparing for the end. They don't trust medicine, they don't trust the school system, they don't trust the government, and so they live off the land. Tara's mother became a midwife to help women who were in families like theirs birth their children because can't trust the hospital. And so Tara grew up just doing a lot of like manual labor for her dad, and like training to be a midwife with her mom. And then like one of her brothers like goes to school and is like, it's way different out there, and so then she wants to go to college and get educated and that sort of thing, which is why the title. It's a crazy story. And let's see what I wrote down. Yeah, this book, it was hyped up a lot. Didn't live up to my expectations. It was scary. Like, some scenes in it were scary because like one of her brothers gets like injured. He gets like a traumatic brain injury, and he's very different after that. He's not as protective of Tara as he was, and he like abuses her for, so trigger warning for that, because it's pretty traumatic, and her parents like hardly do anything, if I remember correctly. I gave this 3.5 stars. Yeah, some of the parts is a little more traumatic than I thought it would be, but reading about her getting her education was really cool. Moving on, Children of Blood and Bone was the third book that I read. It is written by Tomi Adeyemi, and it's narrated by Bonnie Turpin. I listened to this, obviously, on audiobook, and I really enjoyed listening to it. It's told from 3 different perspectives. It's told from Zaylee's perspective, who's this book is kind of like set in a magical world where but the magic has been taken, and Zaylee lives in a village with her brother and her dad, and the village gets raided, and as they're trying to escape, the princess, no, they escape it, and then Zaylee and her brother Zane are in a different town, and they end up rescuing Amari, who is the princess of this kingdom, and she has something that is beneficial to them that she wants to keep from the monarchy, her family. And then we get another perspective, which is her brother Inan, who is, more looking towards being the next king and taking over for his father, and continuing the tradition of violence against people with magic. Let's see, what did I write? It's a YA fantasy. It's West African inspired. Yeah, Amari's just a rogue princess. Her servant, who was able to do magic, was killed. It's a servant she's been best friends with since she was a kid, and so she wants to get out of there and bring magic back. We get to see their we get to see their internal struggles that go along with the outside struggle of trying to escape, and then also trying to fight and join the resistance and that sort of thing. I found all the characters likable. The magic was easy to understand, and the ending was surprising to me. So it was good. I would recommend it. The next book that I read last month was Good Morning and Good Night by Lin-Manuel Miranda, with illustrations by Johnny Sun. I remember back when Lin was tweeting his Good Morning and Good Night tweets, and this was just like scrolling through his Twitter. It was really enjoyable and really cute, and I felt like I needed to read something like that when I was reading it, so it was perfect. It was so cute. It's been on my TBR list for a while, so I'm glad I finally got to read it. The next book that I read last month was called Night Comes Softly. Oh, I gave Good Morning and Good Night 4 stars. 4 stars. So Night Comes Softly is a poetry anthology of Black female voices. It was published all the way back in 1970. I had to do an interlibrary loan from the library, and I just thought it would be really cool to read, and it was really cool. I really liked a lot of the poems, and some of the poems were like about activism, of course, and then there were other poems that were more about daily life. I wish I had spent more time with it, more time like editing it, so I could give like specifics, but I really liked a lot of the poems that were in there. So that one got 5 stars. The next book is called Hell of a Book by Jason Mott. This is a duo, it's like duo timeline. There's a timeline with him as a child, and there's a time with him as an adult. As an adult, he's a successful author who's going around to like book signings and trying to think of his next book because a draft is due. We don't get the main character's name. The main character is a black man, but we don't get his name in the entire book. And he's a little bit of an unreliable narrator because he has a very strong imagination. He's had a very strong imagination since he was a kid. Just seeing people that aren't actually there and talking to them. It scared his parents when he was a child, but he just stopped talking to them about the people he could see, and then they stopped taking him to the doctor about it because they were like, oh, he's cured. And it's a really, really good book. I really, really enjoyed it. He is an unreliable narrator because of his strong imagination, because you're not really sure if some of the people he's talking to are real or not. And it also, because while he's on tour, there's a news story about another black child who was shot and killed, and then he starts seeing a black child like following him around, and it's a lot about like disengaging from media and to avoid hearing stories about that, but how like you like can't disengage. And so it was really good. I'm putting this on my to buy list. I gave this book 3.5 stars. Yeah. The last book that I read last month was called Really Good Actually by Monica Heisey. This is about Maggie, who just got divorced. This book follows her through the year after her divorce, and all the struggles and triumphs that she experiences and how she manages to deal with the divorce. Maggie is a really lovable character, and also relatable. I feel like a lot of the things she does in this book is very relatable. We see like the strain that her divorce and her emotional state puts on her friendships, on her relationships with her family. And I felt like what she went through was realistic as well. It touches on some bigger topics, one of them being like allyship, and how to be a good ally, which doesn't really answer that question, but you just see her like struggle with it and that sort of thing. It's about like we see her go through the whole bounce back thing and trying out dating and trying different ways to distract herself from the divorce and heartbreak, because her and her ex husband have been together for like 10 years. They were married for less than 2. And so she's been with this guy since she was 19. Now she's 29 and trying to figure out how to be alone, which I think would be a struggle for anybody. I also like towards the end you realize she's kind of been a little bit of an unreliable narrator, which I thought was so cool and really throws you for a loop. It was really good. I gave this 4.75 stars. And that is it. That is all the books I read in March. I will be doing another wrap up for April. I've been reading a bunch of poetry books, so I'll have a lot of poetry books to talk about. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.